This episode of the New Hampshire Business Show is sponsored by Everlasting Capital. If you're a small business and you need money and a bank won't give it to you, Everlasting Capital is here to help. In as quickly as a couple of days, you can have the funding your business needs for new equipment or anything else you need the capital for. So submit your application today and see how they can help you out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the New Hampshire Business Show. My name is Chris Pastrana, and today we're here with Stacey Nachajski. I said that correctly?
You did. You got it.
Great Books and Media. How's it going?
Very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So let's get started. Tell me a little bit about yourself and the business, where it all began, and your story.
Sure. So I went to Plymouth State University, and it was a college actually when I started going there, but I went for communications, and they didn't have, any of this newfangled social media stuff. But I got a job, right out of college, doing PR and advertising for a custom cabinet maker. And I was there for, about 10 years. And over that time, everything kind of transitioned from all, publications and magazine advertising into, social media. And I had to learn all this stuff, and I was really excited about it. I got really into it. So I, learned all about Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We were having like Twitter chats and all that kind of stuff. Kind of taught myself all that stuff and had a lot of fun with it. And so, fast forward, I had a couple of kiddos, and my oldest was going into pre-K, which was like, 8:30 to 11 in the morning. So it was like a very, very limited schedule. And I worked half an hour away from my home. So, about January, February of 2015, I was thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to get him to, pre-K and go back to work and then go leave at lunchtime and pick him up. And I had a younger little guy at the same time who was 1, and the childcare place was like, oh, well, it's still full rate, even though your oldest is only coming for a half a day. So then it comes to like, am I just working to pay childcare, And I got to thinking about it, and I was like, I really enjoy this social media stuff. Why couldn't I do it for multiple businesses, from home? And so that's kind of where the whole idea came from. And I ended up, having one client, and then, I kept the business that I worked for as a client for about a year until they filled the in-person spot again. But then just kind of added clients and ended up managing social media accounts for local businesses. And then I got in with the Hannah Grimes Center in Keene. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're sort of like an incubator for startups and that kind of thing. And I started teaching workshops there. So that sort of grew my whole teaching aspect. And I started to help, not only the business owners, but their teams learn how to, make the content plans and utilize Facebook and Instagram that are constantly changing, how to utilize those without spending all day on it, because you easily could do that. So my business has sort of morphed from managing, social media accounts, which I still have a handful of accounts that I do, but more towards the teaching side. And I do private workshops and, more workshops still with Hannah Grimes Center, but also now I'm bringing it online. So I have an online membership, and then I have a couple of standalone courses as well. So that's where I'm at right now.
That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Now, okay, so you started in PR. For people who don't know what that is, I'm sure people have an idea, but you want to dive that a little bit?
Yeah, so it was, I had the position for this custom cabinet maker, and it was basically getting the cabinetry, the photography into magazines. And, whenever they had events going on, I would make sure that they got coverage on that. So it's basically getting the word out about the business. So that when all the digital stuff came about, we finally, had that platform to share that kind of stuff in a more up-to-date way versus, committing to an editorial or something that would come out, months later, right? So it was more of a, learning the new platform so that you could share what's happening right now.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So this is a point there that I wanted to touch on real quick. And people, they look at social media and they're like, oh, this is this new thing, right? This new, it's like at least a decade old now, right?
Yeah.
But the concepts have been here for a long time. So that's, you went from PR to social media, which they're very similar, except it's faster. So I just think it's funny when I get kickback from a lot of business owners who are like, oh, we don't do social media. That's crazy. I'm like, you have public relations people, you're kind of already there.
Right.
So it's always
Right.
kind of funny.
Yeah, well, and the key is just it's going where the attention is,
Yeah.
and you can't argue with, the numbers of how many people, the sheer number of people that are on Facebook and Instagram, and Twitter, all the platforms every single day, multiple times a day, and that's how they're getting their news. That's how they're getting everything, and they're, I mean, on it all the time. They've got their phone with them all the time. So if you think that your ideal client isn't on social media, that's probably not true
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. People just don't know how to get in front of their clients, which is kind of what you're there for, right?
Yeah, and it's tricky. I mean, especially if you're a business owner, you're focusing on your business, and you have, you're already wearing 20 hats, and then you have a team, but you've got to have them doing other things that move the business forward. So social media often falls backward as, not being important. But if you're not out there, again, where the attention is, then you're going to miss out on the opportunities that could come from that.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So I know you touched on it a little bit, but um, when you decided to take that step to turn all of this into a business, kind of
Mhm.
like what propelled that forward? Because that's a big risk.
It is. It is. Well, and we ran the numbers, and my husband has a very good job, and he has the benefits. So I'm open about that and let people
Yeah.
know, like, I have that, that's super helpful as well. But at the same time, looking at spending money on daycare versus I can do the daycare, like I can be home with the kids. So we're not spending that money. So then I don't need to make that much money. So it depends on your circumstance for sure, but if you run the numbers and it makes sense, I look now, and if I, look at marketing jobs and such in my area, I can probably make more doing what I'm doing now with less hours than, going out to a job
Yeah.
in a lot of cases. So you just have to kind of weigh that with your situation. And it was something that we could work out. And it's also, the other thing is that daycare is really hard to come by where I live.
Yeah.
I live out in the sticks, and it's tricky to find something that's something that would fit with our lifestyle, and there's just not that much opportunity out here for that.
Yeah. So I don't want to dive too much into that
Yeah.
because I could talk about personal stuff all day. It's kind of fun. Like balancing kids clearly with an active business is probably pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, but that's why I did, I'm working on doing more of the online stuff, because I
Yeah.
can do that from, my house in the sticks. And I had a live call for my membership this morning, from my desk at my home, and I don't have to drive. Like typically I'll drive to Keene if I'm meeting with clients and stuff
Okay.
like that. And that's a half an hour for me. So it takes an hour out of the already short day that I have to travel to Keene. So I have to think about that as well. So if I'm able to do Zoom calls with my clients, one-on-ones versus driving out to see somebody, that's easier for me to fit into my schedule. And I'm able to help more
Absolutely.
people that way.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I totally get it.
Yeah.
So let's get into what you do a little bit. You talked about you do a lot of calls, you have a membership. So what is it that you help your clients achieve?
Yeah. So I basically help people that are managing social media for business. So it's learning the platforms, it's shortening the learning curves, and actually helping them to slow down and make that plan versus, oh gosh, it's Thursday and I haven't posted anything all week, and my boss says I have to post something, so I'm going to go find this meme, and post that. And then it's, that starts over the next day, and you're scrambling for something to post. And the other thing that happens when you do that is you don't get results, because you're just willy-nilly throwing something out there, posting just to post, So I help really put that plan into place and get that strategy, so that you have sort of a guideline to follow. I'm going to post this many times on Facebook, this many times on Instagram. Here's who I'm talking to. That's one where people think, they need to be on every single platform. Well, you don't have to, if you have a plan and you really commit to, that plan for one or two platforms, that's going to be more impactful than being, again, willy-nilly and, really spread thin across 5 platforms,
Yeah.
So it's just boiling down all of the information that's out there and saying, no, focus on this. Like for instance, in our area anyway, in Keene area, Twitter is not a huge deal for local businesses. It's not something I would want people to spend a ton of time learning. Whereas Facebook is the one in this area. Facebook and then Instagram is starting to get, to be more of a platform to use in my area.
Yeah.
But if people don't know that, they could spend a ton of time trying to learn something that's not going to get them where they want to go.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Twitter is, Twitter.
Yeah. Well, it's good if you're a national company. Like a lot of the
Yeah.
big companies use it for customer service.
Yeah.
Like Beachbody was down yesterday. I was trying to do a workout. Beachbody was down, and you go to Twitter and everybody's talking about, oh, it's down, oh, it's down. Well, that works for a giant company like Beachbody, but the small businesses in Keene, they're not going to get much from being on Twitter. They can still be there, but it's not the priority in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely agree. So let's see. So we got the social media a little bit. You do some. I looked at your Facebook page, and you have some events coming up and some stuff. So what do you typically do with your clients? Because I know you said you do a lot of stuff via internet, but when you do your events, are you getting together with them? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, there's a couple different options. So the events that are coming up are workshops on Instagram and Facebook, and those are more local. Those are they are local. They're held in Keene at the Anagram Center, and then the Max Makerspace. I have an Instagram one coming up. So those are sort of like 101 courses. Like here's the platform. Here's where you spend your time. This is how this works, kind of thing. So that's really super introductory. And that's also the kind of information that I have on my website, my blog, and, I have a free Facebook group where we talk about all that kind of stuff too. So people can ask questions there. But if they want help with, a particular campaign on social media, or just that overall, what we talked about, having a strategy to put everything in place and have something that they're going to follow, we can do one-on-ones. So I could do like a 90-minute Zoom call to sit down and look at everything they've got in place and give recommendations for the things that they can tweak on their profiles and the kinds of content that might resonate with their ideal clients. All of this depends on their goals as well. If they're looking for more foot traffic, well, then we can, if it's a store, for instance, we can talk about, promoting a coupon or a special sale or something like that. And then that may entail, a Facebook ad or email marketing series or something like that. So the thing is, it's different for every single business, but there's, depending on their goals, there's different things that we can do. So I meet with them, one-on-one. I can do also workshops for larger teams, like for mid-sized businesses who maybe have a team in place, but they need to brush up on the latest for Facebook and Instagram and that kind of stuff. So we can do that as well. And then I have the online courses. So those are sort of I call it the self-study, part of my website where they can sign up. I have a planning course. It's called the Content Group Framework. And then I have an Instagram course, and it's called Instagram Engaged. And then my membership is a monthly membership where they get access to a Facebook group. And I've just moved it into a website portal. So that's super exciting. I'm kind of upgrading from what I started with and, moving everybody over to that. And so that's just, I have a theme for each month, and I teach about, Facebook, like this month was Facebook ads, just a very introductory, here's the different pieces of Facebook ads. And then we have a Q&A call. And there's other different things that are involved with that too. So there's a bunch of different ways that people can work with me, and it all depends on their goals and their budgets, really.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was going to say something. Now I forgot what it was. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you work with a lot of businesses. You kind of help them with their social media. I always love asking this question. What do you find people typically doing wrong? It's like the big blaring thing that if you had to look at it and you'd be like, oh, there it is again. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So the one thing I see a lot is not having that connection between what they're doing in real life and what they're doing online. So that's kind of what I try to do is, you've got this awesome business in person, like a store or something. You walk in and it's this great experience, but then you look at their website and it hasn't been updated in a long time. And Facebook has a post from 3 months ago and it's like, sale, and Facebook is not a sales flyer. And a lot of people kind of equate what they used to do for ads on, in print with what they can do for posts or ads on Facebook. And I mean, you probably know that you can't have a ton of text on your Facebook ads.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's different rules, and it's a whole different ball game than, in print. And I don't discredit print at all. I mean, we have a shopper that we get once a week around us, and it's full of local businesses and all their good stuff going on, and people get business from that all the time. So I'm not saying don't do that anymore, but just be open to the new platforms, and think of them as a way to communicate with the people that are interested in your business and the people that you can help.
Yeah. Because like I was saying earlier, it's all the same type of thing. It's still PR, it's still reaching out, still marketing. It's just a little different, because it's a different medium. Yeah.
Right. And the degree of personalization that you can achieve now that you couldn't, and it's just, you can direct message anybody, and ask them questions, and not as the business owner, but as think of it as the customer, and what do they want? They want personalization. They want somebody to know that they're there. So including them, asking them for feedback. People love to give their opinion, and that's how you get that engagement, which is just comments and likes and that kind of thing on Facebook and on Instagram. But it's including them in the process. That's what people love. They love to be a part of it now.
Yeah, because I know I've personally not worked with companies because they don't have any social media presence.
Absolutely.
It's like, it doesn't take much. I mean, I used to have a lot of time to spend on social media, but it doesn't take much to keep your business, or at least your public profile, up to date. This is what's going on. This is what we're doing. Special sale, something, a couple minutes a day. And, that's why people need your help.
Yeah. I had a client one time say, a photo a day keeps Stacey away.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. All you have to do is take a picture a day, and I'm so jealous of people that have like a storefront or a physical business, because they've got so much that they can take pictures of. I mean, how many times can I share my laptop,
That's true. I run into that issue. I'm like, people don't want to see another picture of my microphone,
right.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I know it's a real challenge, but there's ways around that too. So those are the kinds of things that I help people with. It's like, okay, well, what's your unique situation? And they see it every single day, so they're like, this is old news. People know what I do. Well, maybe not on Facebook, we can tell them, and we got to remind them, we got to tell them over and over again. Yeah. And the other thing I hear is, I don't want to annoy people, and that's what marketing is. You have to market your business, and that means repeating your message over and over and over again till you think you're a broken record. But then somebody comes along and says, oh, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's I didn't know you did that. Or was it the algorithm that just kind of hinders how many people see you anyway? So you could say the same thing like 10 times and you might not even hit the same person.
Right. Absolutely. And the algorithm, meaning the back end of Facebook that decides, what it is that you see, it's going to limit the reach of things, especially if you're using really salesy language. That's a little quick tip. Facebook just won't push it out to people because they know that it's a salesy post, and they want the people that are using Facebook to have fun and enjoy it. And they know that kind of post can be off-putting if it's not a sponsored post. So
interesting. That is a good tip.
Yeah.
Cool. So people that want to learn a little more from you, reach out, get to talk to you a little more about this stuff. How do they get a hold of you?
Sure. So my website is greatbrookmedia.com, and that is my username on Facebook and Instagram. I am on Twitter, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. But I have a free Facebook group, and it's called The Content Groove. And it's getting in the groove of, creating regular content. And so we talk about social media and email marketing and all that kind of stuff in there. So I'd love to have you guys in there.
Cool. Outstanding. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for watching. That was a lot of fun. Like I said, I hope you got something out of that. I did. I did not know what the salesy pitch thing is because they want your money. So everyone, again, reach out if you need help and be good.